A bit of a struggle this season, ranking just number 62nd in the country, only 42%, as Coppola's been dominant this year for Villanova, winning 62% of his face-offs. The wings have been good. It's been a mix of Tom Fegley and two rookies, Quinn Mahoney and Richie Houston, and Coppola wins that easily there against Tom Fegley, who started the year. Then Quinn McGonaghy's done pretty well at times, and then Richie Houston had one big game against Sacred Heart, winning 23 draws, but it's been mostly a struggle, and Villanova's had a lot of the ball. So defenses for Coach Gabrielli, and Villanova has a little bit more thunder and experience. As a good job there to win the draw for Providence by Tom Fegley, who's just 33% in his career, the native of Easton, PA, and eventually the 50-50 grounder. It was taken by the Friars, and that was Michael Hughes, the backup long stick midi, but Villanova came away with it there as check committed early. But now it's been better, but they're still going to take early offense when they get it, and then that's been a new look for Villanova in addition to the 10-man ride. And Justin Coppola keeps on winning faceoffs. Take it for granted just because Providence has struggled, because remember, Drexel really was struggling in the faceoff department, and the Dragons came in here 4 years on the first midfield line at Johns Hopkins. Top 10 in extra man goals for Villanova's excellent EMO unit. As you see the faceoff win by Tom Fegley, who's winning just 29% of the draws this year, and that's good for Providence to win a faceoff. And they have young guys on attack as well. And after maybe a slow start, he has really taken his game thanks to that new switch with Villanova's great coaching staff. It's a procedure call against Justin Coppola, who will quickly have to run off. And Providence, there's Brendan Driscoll. You'll see him a little bit more because of the injury to Evan McGreen. Whether that be midfield or attackman, they need an extra body out there. And Coppola wins the faceoff. He's won 3 of the 6 so far. And Fegley had won 3 of the first 5. So Coppola, we thought he had maybe one more so far. And I love Tucker Goodell's skill set. That's his 9th goal of the season. And sometimes you just need a bit of a good play to get you going a little bit. It's been, as we said, a little bit up and down for Goodell, but a very talented player for Nova. I love his game. As Villanova will be a weapon with all the new changes and new players. And frankly, look at both sides. A lot of new kids and new roles this season. You need to find as many openings as you can. And when you're a little bit better in those strengths, maybe it's a 1-goal win against Denver instead of a 2-goal loss. And maybe instead of receiving votes, maybe Villanova's ranked this week. As there's so much parity in D1 men's lacrosse, these close games you have to win. And how about the good face-off guys Providence has to face all year? That's why they've had some nightmares. When you go against Zach Cole of St. Joe's, he's the real deal, #1 in the country, over 70%. They won some draws today, as the pass was a little bit off the mark that time for Chris Kus. An offensive midi this year, and you just don't see it as much anymore. It's really neat to see. Providence doing a good job boxing out possibly as Justin Coppola going for it against the wing in Michael Hughes, number 38, the backup pole. And there's a push that we'll have, and it will be Providence ball, perhaps? Nope, Villanova will get the ball. As Providence suddenly right back in it. McConaughey had taken a draw so far. Fegley is 3 of 7. Coppola's won 5 of 9. And Chet Camizio gets it from Coppola that time after the Friars try. And now suddenly it's a change to all the midfielders. And it was last year for Providence. They brought back their grad guys in Tim Hinrichs and Dan Axelson, the big shooter, and Ryan Araki. Coppola wins the draw that time, and the Wildcats have the possession. Providence gets within 1. Providence was midfield-centric last year. You could say a little bit so this year. And a 5-5 game as Providence has outscored Villanova 4-0 here in the second quarter. This is always kind of a funky game when Villanova and Providence play. A lot of years Villanova takes care of business, or it's kind of an interesting one where Providence sneaks up and gets Villanova. In 2019, it was about as weird of a game today. As a big goal there for Keating. As the draw, here's the face-off. It's Tom Fegley back in there to face Justin Coppola. Lots of teams have started to make it more of a grind. You can't spin as much anymore, although the guys were twisting and turning a bit there. And, of course, the new standing neutral grip rules that were put in last year. There's Villanova scoring. Unsettled themselves. It's Sam Parkinson, the San Francisco native, with his first goal of the season. He's been moved to D-midi this year. Without Stevie Jones in the lineup, he's seeing even more time. His 4th career goal. The Wildcats recruiting the West Coast. Gotta love that there. Beautiful step down. Sam Parkinson with a hot shot that time. Back-to-back goals for Villanova. Mike O'Grady will play one wing. He matches up against Jimmy Gabrielson. Justin Coppola on the draw that time. Fresh bodies, perhaps. That was Quinn McGonaghy, 47% for the Massachusetts kid. And Villanova gets the ground ball. Providence, it looks like they're trying to tie it up against Fairfield. It's 54 times in 58 career games that he has a multi-point affair. Not so bad. How about a face-off win here for Quinn McGonaghy? The freshman wins it. Villanova coming after it as Michael used the pole, struggling against the ride of Gavin Burke, 35 in white, the D-midi from the Haverford School. Out of bounds. We'll see if they call alternate possession as the officials have to get together. As it went out simultaneously, Coach Karpinski there in the box for Nova. Defense, as teams only have 6 extra man goals against Villanova this year. That's 2 of them for Providence already today. And suddenly, when you think it's comfortable, this is what conference lacrosse is all about. Some stats leading the conference in points, 46 today. Give him 3 more, as that's 49 points. As Justin Coppola wins his 11th face-off, and it's knocked away by Harris. As Villanova tries warm Easter weekend here in Philadelphia. Great crowd on hand as the Wildcats looking for their 2nd conference win of the year. Justin Coppola has won 11 of 16 at the X, and here he goes again, winning it and shooting it and scoring it. Justin Coppola right to the rack that time, and Villanova extends their lead with a bang to start the 3rd quarter. Coppola with a monster play on his 2nd goal of the season. Right down the highway. Count it, and a goal for Coppola. That's 3 career tallies for the junior out of Garden City. A big-time recruit for Villanova, and you saw what he had to go through to start his career. We mentioned that Providence has had to face lots of good face-off units last year and this year. In the words of Coach Gabrielli, Coppola had to face all those guys. He wins another one here to start his career with facing T.D. Erlin and Gerard Arceri, and then the Maryland group. Duke went to 2 Final Fours. His dad played lacrosse at Navy, had 2 and 3 against Delaware, 3 goals against Fairfield. Really solid player. Had 2 goals against Denver last week. We mentioned that. Good one there. Villanova with Austin Frazier, the 2nd-line midfielder for Villanova. At times he'll play with the first group. Here's Mason Reale. He's had a nice 2nd half of the season. Chet Camizio had a knockdown in front. Villanova's unit, all in all, they've won 13 of 20. Providence has won 7 of 20. Coppola is now 14 of 20 on the day. Even though attackman, as he's playing a little bit more attack now, will they put him on the ballot as an attackman to win that award? Because if he is considered a quote-unquote attackman for the awards, he would be the best attacker in the league at this point. Villanova unsettled off the face-off, and another goal. That's Matt Licata who snuck in, the New Hampshire kid with his 4th goal. And the New Hampshire kid with his 4th goal of the season. Justin Coppola racing down after winning the draw, feeding it here, and a beautiful, nice, worked it high, then worked it low, little shimmy on Harris. Plenty of talent for Matt Licata. He can go lefty and righty, like all Villanova's dudes through the years. I don't think there's a program in the country more than Villanova, with all the Del Barton guys that just can shoot lefty or righty through the years. Cuccinello could do it, and Curran could do it, Fracaro could do it. So many of these Wildcats. Matt Campbell, just left and right combo players every single year. It's really fun to watch, and it's tough to play against, let alone scout. Providence, out of Boston, Melrose, Boston area. Just a terrific do-everything type player, and the way he's reading the game, so smart and crafty, playing both ways. When you have a guy like that does a little bit of everything, you'll win some games. Lots of good young players for Providence. For a while, they seemed like the older team in the league for a lot of years. Now they're a little bit younger this year. Third hat trick of the year for Jack Horrigan, also with 3 markers against Sacred Heart and Siena. Face-off win that time by Quinn McConaughey. All right, say the Providence fans. Set up, or if you're not getting your off-ball defense together, we've seen some teams get Villanova like that a little bit. And whether that is Providence's way of scoring, you're seeing them take advantage of that matchup a little bit. Coppola wins another face-off. That's 16 of 24. You added in a lot of the grad transfers this year. Of course, you can hit the portal in the offseason. That's an ongoing process. It's not just this year. I think something that everybody's doing. Look at Maryland. And he made the best of points about coaching. Providence has changed things up. Villanova has continued to change things up as a program the last couple of years. When you continue to see the same thing on tape each week, when you scout them and it's there on the field that following Saturday, you don't keep the other team guessing. And coaching, you're supposed to keep other teams guessing. So he came in with 100, and he has 102 goals. He's too shy of third place on the all-time Providence goals list. Coppola trying to win the face-off there, the 5th Friar to hit 100 goals in a career. So he came in with 100, and he has 102 goals. He's too shy of third place on the all-time Providence goals list. Coppola trying to win the face-off there against Quinn McConaughey. Might get a push, and it is Providence's ball. Will Vuitton has 12. Baskin and Daly each have 6 extra man goals this year, which is tied for 9th best in the country. And Providence wins the draw, so they get within 3. They have the ball back, and they score it. Each have 6 extra man goals this year, which is tied for 9th best in the country. And Providence wins the draw, so they get within 3. They have the ball back, and they score it. That's Ricky Amarin. He'll take face-offs and play the wing, and he'll play close defense, and he'll score goals clearly. That's his first career goal. We've seen several Friars with their first career marker today. He gets it on the run. We've seen Brown play that crazy offense with Poles for years. Must be something in the water in Friartown. And we see Providence with a new look and a wrinkle. And a timeout for Coach Corrado. Providence gets within 2 with 8:49 left in this one. As we'll take a timeout. Wildcats by 2.
Smart defense. Nick, back to you.
The Wildcats need to play a little bit smarter, and the face-off could be won here by Quinn McConaughey, and we get a hold, and it will be against Villanova, and Providence gets as J.P. Basile, the Duke transfer, had a couple of goals against Denver, his 6th multi-goal game of the season, and Villanova extends it to a 3-goal lead. As Providence with Quinn McConaughey, the Fogo twisting with Justin Coppola, and it pops out for Sam Parkinson, and then maybe 52 Panicia, the D-midi. Instead, it's Chet Camizio. Providence, after facing Villanova, they'll take on Denver next week at noon at Chappie Field at the gorgeous Anderson Stadium setup. Gorgeous new field. As Bob Driscoll, the AD, he's now retiring, has done a marvelous job. Keating got the assist as Luke Keating, just a multi-point game in his sleep. He has 4 and 3 today. Keating had a big game against Haverford a couple of years ago, a career-high 7 goals. And Keegan Khan had a career-high 7 goals against Providence last year here against the Friars. Coppola, he has a goal today. Face-off win. Oh, about Harris. Save on the doorstep that time as Licata was trying for his 4th. Maybe the best save of the day.